is Governor Bobber. I like good day, doctors.
George Allen here. Good day, doctors.
Go!
You're watching Dr. Politics.
They're Dr. Politics. He's the one to see. Breaking down the news with sharp analysis. From Congress halls to campaign trails, he tells the truth when all else fails. They're Dr. Politics. Dr. Politics. Exposing the spin, the lies and tricks. Dr. Politics. Dr. Politics. He calls it straight, no politics as usual. Love from backroom deals to primetime fights. He sheds some light and sets things right. Debates, elections, policy. He cuts through all the DC sleaze. Oh, Dr. Politics, he's got the facts. Dr. Politics, no holding back. Dr. Politics, go away. Dr. Politics, he's got the facts. Dr. Politics, no holding back. Dr. Politics.
It is Friday, August 7th, 2026, and we are here live in middle of a thunderstorm in the DMV.
Yeah.
Are you guys getting any thunder out where you guys are? I had some earlier, but it seems to be quiet now.
We had some, and yeah, it was raining pretty good. It passed us mostly, but about an hour ago, it was pretty hard.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that, one bit of good news, we're technically out of the drought in Northern Virginia. We were in a drought, and it's now been lifted after the storms of last week, I guess.
Yeah, I tell you, the drought, it's funny. When I used to garden, have a bigger garden, I should say, I cared more about the drought than now. It's like, it's a drought, but I can water. It's not that. It's manageable. I don't need to lug the sprinklers out and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's been a crazy week in politics this week.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd live to see. I never thought I'd live to see the day when we'd elect
or nominate
as the Democrat nominee for the U.S. Senate from Michigan.
Yeah, I guess it should have been expected in a way because the Arab American population is pretty high, probably in Michigan. Relatively speaking, it's not,
Yeah.
but
It's high, but they're not the majority. Like there's
Right.
a lot of Indians who live in New Jersey, but they're not the majority.
Of course, but it's enough that you might have thought, well, maybe there's a shot, and you've got Dearborn Stan, and Dearborn Stan came out for, I assume, not just Dearborn Stan, but also Ann Arbor, all right, College Town, Detroit.
And all the college towns are the ones that basically went for, like Kalamazoo went for El Sayad.
Okay, yeah.
Or El Sayed.
East Lansing, the home of Michigan State.
Yeah. Cannot believe the state of Gerald Ford.
That's right. And East Lansing, that's Jerry Ford's congressional district, I think, went for Saeed. So.
And, Don, do you remember when they had, what's his name? Was it Kyle Levin, the senator from Michigan, and Don Riegel?
Yes,
Those
I remember.
two guys. And they were both Jewish Americans.
Years ago, remember, they couldn't stop, I guess, Obama and the Iran deal. So, they're not the power that everyone seems to think.
AIPAC, I think their zenith was around in the maybe 90s or late 80s.
Yeah.
Because look, they had no issues. They weren't able to. But here's the thing: is I hope in Maryland, Chris Van Hollen, by the way, avoided the rush and he endorsed El Sayed in June. He avoided the rush, so this way he's not tripping over other Democrats running to Dearborn or wherever in Michigan to endorse El Sayed,
But remember,
Kamala Harris.
El Said has said he's going to endorse Holland for majority leader or minority leader, I guess. So Van Holland, I guess that was maybe part of the deal.
Yeah. Well, Chris Van Hollen, he keeps, let's look at the company Chris Van Hollen keeps. The Maryland man,
Yeah.
who was a illegal human trafficker. He went and had margaritas with him in El Salvador. He supports Will Jawando, a DSA progressive guy running for county executive in Montgomery County.
Yeah.
Then we have people like, then he's endorsed Al Sayed. Al Sayed, I don't want to mispronounce his name because there could be an El Sayed who's really a good person. But Al Sayed, and this is, I think, the Democrat Party. This reminds me, remember when David Duke was the nominee in Louisiana for governor?
Yeah.
Republicans viewed him as a cancer on the Republican Party. We rallied and we did not support him. We did not give him any oxygen. We supported Edwin Edwards, everyone from President George H.W. Bush down to every elected Republican in the state of Louisiana and around the country did not support Edwin Edwards. I mean, what's his name?
Didn't support David Duke.
Yeah.
They probably didn't say vote for Edwards, but they said don't vote for Duke. So don't vote that. Yeah.
No, and then you had, the state of Texas running commercials. You guys elect David Duke, all the business is going to move to Texas. They were very happy.
That. Yeah, I remember that.
With the exception of it, I hate to say this, Mr. Mary Matlin himself, what's his name? Jim Carville. Mr. Mary Matlin is the only one who seems to be troubled by this whole thing.
Well, they're frightened. I mean, Democrats don't know what to do. They don't know how to battle or push back against the DSA. They don't know how to do it, really. And they're frightened because they're going to get swamped. They know that's where the energy of the party is. So either they fight back or just accept.
And honestly, they should be fighting back. They're lemmings. If the Democratic Party is going to be, sent to obscurity if they keep on this path.
But you know what, though? Yeah. It gets further and further kooky because you had AOC, and a few years ago we would have said she's a nut. But then they get El Said, and you think, boy, that AOC seems like a real sensible person. Well, they've got someone in the wings, we'll find out next Tuesday, that's going to make El Said look like totally 100% normal.
Are you referring to the candidate for governor in Wisconsin?
In Wisconsin, Francesca Hong. And that woman is a wackadoodle. I mean, she wants to remember her. She
hates Thanksgiving too.
4th of July, she doesn't like. I don't think she likes Christmas. She talked about her proximity. Proximity to whiteness. I don't know exactly what that means, but she married a white guy. They had a baby, and she talks about the baby is half white. And she talked about how how she's dealing with that in terms of her proximity to whiteness. I mean, she is a wackadoodle. And let me tell you, never say never, but this is close. They're not electing her governor of Wisconsin. If they do, they've decided to commit suicide, in effect, political suicide to destroy this state.
The party needs a reformation. The Democrat Party needs a reformation. They need to go back to the roots of, I hate to say it, Bill days of Bill Clinton and Gary Hart. And so I wonder if James Carville leaves the party, will he take the Clintons with him?
No, I think the Clintons will always be Dems, I think.
Yeah, and so will Carville. I mean, he's
not coming to the Republican Party, Then again,
he's still considered someone that people need to go to because of his success, running the Clinton campaign. The Democrats. I mean, as we're talking about this, I mean, they're really having a problem with this. They, on the one hand, they don't really want to support these DSA candidates because this is not their brand of politics. This is so far off the beaten path of the establishment. that's not good for them. On the other hand, it's a numbers game, and they're they're looking at this as like we can't just give up that seat, in particular since it's a Democratic seat for where El Sayed is. We
Yep.
can't just give that up and let that flip.
Yeah.
That, in a critical year. I mean, I still think the Republicans hold on to the Senate. The House is going to be like it has been. As it's a narrow margin for the Republicans. It could wind up being a narrow margin for the Democrats when all is said and done. Just so many factors are out there. So when you look at all the numbers for either the House or the Senate, it's like every seat matters so much that despite the wacky politics, they got to support them. Yeah. Okay. So you just for context, you got to understand. So I posted on Facebook. I went to Dickerson, Maryland, to the infamous Dickerson Market, which I've been trying to do for years. And I finally told my wife, I said, let's do this. And we drove up to Frederick and went to Costco. And on our way back, we detoured off a little bit to Dickerson. It's a gas station. It's a little market. There's a post office attached to this thing.
And that's all in Montgomery County, Maryland, too.
It's in Montgomery County. And you get in there, and I swear, I'm sure that they probably wind up selling more food than they do gas, right? And they have a kitchen. They actually have this little kitchen. And so they have this chicken up there. And so there's no discount no matter how many pieces you buy. So you basically wind up paying like $2.40, $2.50 a piece per chicken. But that fried chicken is darn good.
That beats their $20 burrito, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it's very, I mean, the people there, I mean, this is like, when you go to a country store or general store, the people there are extremely friendly, and they're very helpful, and there's a lot of homemade stuff. So, we wound up buying coleslaw and deviled eggs.
Did they have
because,
cookies there?
that's stuff they make on site. So it's kind of like, yeah, I kind of like that versus the whole, manufactured thing of where stuff is just always just brought in and done. You can see the kitchen, when you're in there. You can just see these two little older ladies, back there. My wife referred to them as kind of Waffle House era people. So,
by the way,
yeah, it's for anybody in Montgomery County or anybody who can get to Dickerson, you got to go there. It's worth it.
Yeah.
But I'm betting on the weekends. It's probably crazy, but I mean, going on a weekday is probably the best thing.
It's like that ice cream shop in Damascus. Jimmy Cohn's.
Cone. I've been to Jimmy Cone. That's pretty good. Yeah. Spencer said that there's like a great soft serve place or something like that in by Antietam. He and his wife went there many years ago. So you find these little gems, here and there. I mean, the next thing on my list locally to go to is there's the gas station in Brookville, Maryland, and it is known for its hamburgers. Supposed to be the best hamburgers in the area.
Yeah, I just saw a YouTube video about that place not too long ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, so the thing about Dickerson, is just that if you pick anything up there, you have two choices. Well, three choices, maybe, I guess. One, eat the food in your car. Two, eat them at the 4 picnic tables they have outside. But when it's 90 degrees outside, even if it's in the shade, it's hot. Okay. And we're humid. Or 3, you take it home. The thing is that a 25-minute drive from us, from Dickerson to our home, means is that the chicken, loses a little bit of its flavor, and it's definitely not quite as hot, obviously.
That's why you take one of those heater bags, those heat bags, you put them in there.
Yeah.
Still warm when you get home.
I told my wife on the way back, I says, just eat the chicken now. Go ahead. Don't wait for me.
Is it better than Royal Farms? Or Rofo, as the kids call it?
She's had Royal Farms. She puts us up there because she says they don't over batter the chicken or anything like that. It's just really tasty. And now she's like,
has she ever gone to churches? That I don't even know if they're around there anymore.
They're still, I didn't take her to any. They're down. I
see them down in Georgia and places like that.
South. There's in North Carolina, and there's a lot of places in the South. she likes the fried chicken at Golden Corral, but now she's like, I don't know if I can eat that again now.
Well, I used to go. The X was in Prince George's County, and there's a little ice cream place called Hover Mails right off Indian Head Highway. It wasn't bad, but it was like a local thing.
There was a place that everyone at NASA seemed to love called Gus's Chicken
Okay.
on Greenbelt Road. Now it's a Mexican place.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, if you go to Jimmy Cone, you basically have to pay cash. That's the only. That's pretty much all they accept. But we went there on a summer day one time. I said, well, we got to try this because everybody says it's great. It's an outdoor thing. I mean, you basically walk up and buy your ice cream, and then you have to decide you're going to eat it in your car, you're going to go home. They have a bunch of tables out there or whatever, but the place is just crazy. And then it's like a basic cone, and then you pay extra for like sprinkles and everything like that. But people up there in Damascus, I mean, that's an institution for them.
Yeah,
So,
it's like Rita's Ice, kind of like but Rita's Ice is a chain, but it's kind of the same concept. You walk up.
It's just, I think, don't we like to support local businesses when we can?
Yep.
I mean,
Absolutely.
and those are the little gems. But anyway, we're off track. Just go back to the whole DSA, LSA.
Yeah.
It just.
Thank you, Craig.
These people are out there, and the Democrats are struggling. I mean, their identity is at stake here in this election. These people win, but they can't afford numbers. And David, you're mentioning, Wisconsin. This is another problem for them. I mean, the woman is a Looney Tune, right?
Yeah. She is,
and she's
the tough thing for her. It's not just her ideologically she's a socialist, and I don't know what state would want a socialist as governor. Considering you kind of need to bring business into your state for your revenue, but on top of that, it's going to be a problem for her. She's not really qualified to be governor. She's a kid, had one failed business. I mean, who's going to make her governor? Your governor's running the state. You're going to want someone who is qualified, who has some executive experience, who can manage. You're talking about a kid that has no experience. So and it's an executive position too. It's not like, if you remember a Congress and you want to vote straight, party line or whatever, well, that's fine. But governor's a different office.
Remember Paul Wellstone.
And the thing is that in Wisconsin, I mean, the Democrats have been having more success lately, right? I mean, they've controlled the governor's mansion for the last couple of terms. They've been getting these liberal Democrats on their state Supreme Court. They've been eating away at the gains Republicans made years ago. And so now, that could go right up in smoke here, with her on the ballot, because it's like she's poison. I mean, who wants to, for the reasons that you mentioned and probably many more, who wants to vote for her? I mean, Tony Evers, the governor, does. I mean, I don't think he really knows what to do about this situation.
Yeah.
This has really become a problem for the whole party.
Yeah, and if she were to win, she'd be so bad that it would saddle the party's better off losing in that case. Because if she were to win, she would be so dreadful as a governor that they wouldn't be winning for a long time.
And we have examples. I mean, you can see Mondami in New York City, but he's a mayor, and there's a limited power for him.
Right.
And, Pete Wilson in Seattle, but you can look to these instances of these people and say, there's a track record being built with this group of people that is going to, it's just bad for the party. I mean, Katie Wilson in Seattle has been a complete disaster.
Yeah, she has.
And
yes, she
here's
has.
the thing. I think James Carville understands the big picture, which I don't think anybody at the DNC knows about this, considering they've put their building up for Hawks so they can have money to run campaigns. But if they get they get the DSA candidate for governor in Wisconsin, you have El Sayed, you have Nitya Raman. I think she's going to beat the Democrat in that
probably
runoff. I think Nitya Raman, because she's just as wacky as
Yeah.
I was listening to the guy before that was I think it was Mark Levin last night, or the guy before Mark Levin was talking about how they spent $500,000 on a bathroom that still doesn't work in the park,
Mm.
and just boggles my mind, frankly. But I think you're going to get there. This is going to hurt candidates like for Democrats, and I think it's a good thing, frankly. Keep electing these DSA guys, but people like Telefrico in Texas, he's not going to win, but this is going to push his numbers down. It's going to hurt. I want to say if we had depending on who is the nominee, who are Senate, basically, I think it could help us in states like North Carolina. Also, basically you paint everyone into these DSA extremists.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you
And
gotta
it's kind of like how remember
nationalize it.
remember in '94 we made everybody morphed into Bill Clinton.
Yeah, that's right.
We just need to
Yeah.
morph all these guys into DSA Democrats.
Absolutely, and they'll say absolutely because that's our best shot.
I mean,
Maybe
I
only
remember,
shot.
I remember when Paul Wellstone was viewed, he was the radical. I mean, I think these guys would think Paul Wellstone was a right-wing extremist, frankly.
Yeah, I
mean,
think so. Well, Joe
and he was a very radical leftist, Paul Wellstone.
I wrote, I think, in a column that Joe Biden couldn't get the Democratic nomination today, not because he's mentally incompetent. They don't care about that, but they're going to view him as too pro-Israel. And Biden, they would say, in fact, they've already started heckling him that he was involved in a genocide, or he looked the other way at a genocide taking place in the Palestinian territory. And so he couldn't get nominated today. It's gone so kooky, the party. And you got to almost not feel sorry for Schumer, but what a pathetic figure. The highest ranking Jewish Democrat, the politician, they say, the highest ranking Jew in sort of the American government. And he's going to go and embrace al-Said. I mean, this is ridiculous. But he does it because, well, it's the power of the party. That's what matters to him. And there's a certain patheticness to it. It's like Joe, not to go on and on, but it's like Joe Biden, claims to be the Catholic, and that's so important to him. But yet he'd sell out the church on everything, including life. He'd sell out. It's sort of a pathetic quality, I think, to
and
to.
I will
say, if politicians ever had a moral compass, they certainly don't have it anymore.
Right? Yeah, that's true.
mean, I tell you, the most troubling thing about this, I think, what's going to be the real tell is: does Bill Clinton go out and do a public embrace of El Sayed and embrace these guys? I don't know.
Bill Clinton's not even a consideration for anything anymore. No,
that is true.
Yeah, that's true.
He's.
But I bet we'll see Michelle and Barack
really
there.
Or anything.
Yeah, I can see Michelle and Barack endorsing Al Sayed because Obama was he hated America. Remember his wife said only day she was proud of America was when her husband got elected president. Never mind the moon landing. Or when we beat the Soviets in Olympic gold.
What's interesting though? How many of these DSA folks are foreign born? At least of the elected officials. Now the backers are for the most part, white, downwardly mobile, younger people. But you've got the Malat Kiros, Ilhan Omar, Mandami. El Sayed. Oh no, not El Sayed. I think he was born in the United States.
No, but I want to say I think El Sayed was sent back to Turkey or wherever in the Middle East. Okay. And he kind of grew up there, but he was like an anchor baby, I guess.
Okay. I think an anchor baby. I think you're correct on the anchor baby. But it's amazing that so many of them were
Hassan Piker, same way. He was an anchor baby,
right.
And he went back to Turkey and was schooled in the ways of radical Islamist policy.
Yeah. So it's interesting. You see that in so many of them. Yeah. But
it's interesting to see that. I mean, but like I said, I mean, you mentioned, I mean, Schumer. I mean, this is a tough one for him because he's basically got to throw away his core beliefs and the
Yeah.
strong support of Israel, or hold his nose, and
Yeah.
support these candidates at the risk of where there's an opportunity, a slim one, to win the Senate. So he could become the Senate Majority Leader,
Yeah.
if they do that. But that means you have to support people like El Sayed. I mean that's a tough decision.
Yeah,
But
and he's already endorsed
when
El
but
Sayed,
when do you actually say enough is enough?
Yeah.
It's like this is what I believe in. You're not part. You don't support these positions.
Yeah.
We're not putting
Mhm.
any money into your campaign. We're not endorsing you. You're on your own.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
the right stand. But most politicians these days are pretty spineless. So
And he's basically sold out long time ago when he embraced AOC and Mamdani in New
Well,
York. I mean,
and also considering, he got elected as a pro-Israel Democrat, and he's going out this way by backing, El Sayed, who rails against APAC, and it just would be totally different than the Chuck Schumer who first came up in politics.
yeah, I mean how some politicians morph to keep in power and to just stick around. But yeah, I mean this is where Republicans can make further gains with the Jewish community. It's because for the most part Republicans have been pretty good on Israel.
yeah.
While the Democrats now are wavering.
That's true.
And Don, coming back home in your childhood neighborhood, there's a synagogue there where they thank you, President Trump and the DOJ. They've stepped in. Montgomery County has a law where you can't have guns in a place of worship within like 50 feet or 50 yards or something like that. I forget what it is. But there's being Jewish in Montgomery County in this day and age of El Sayed and radical Islamists, you got to protect yourself. And these small synagogues can't afford to be paying private security. So what are they doing? They are, people that are licensed gun owners are carrying concealed carry, and the Montgomery County people say, sorry, you can't do that. You're violating the law. And Rabbi Shapiro filed a lawsuit against them, which I think this could have the same impact Heller had in DC.
Yeah. Well, that was a biggie.
Mm-hmm. And because this is like something being pushed down from Annapolis, but Montgomery County being Montgomery County, hey, we'll do it faster than.
Yeah, I mean, I love our state in general, but the politicians running our state are running it right into the ground.
Yeah. Well,
they just took away our, as the soup Nazi would say, if Westmore was the soup Nazi, he'd say, no choice for you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is all going to be struck down by the Maryland Supreme Court, frankly. I don't even think it's going to go the federal route, but I think the Maryland Supreme Court's going to strike this down, frankly, because they're in gross violation of the state constitution. But then again, they could always do a referendum and say, hey, we're going to change the constitution so we don't have to follow we're going to write a law. And this is where the late Anton Scalia comes to mind when he, I guess it was in the late 80s, he addressed Congress and he mentioned how, it's not because we have a constitution, it's hard to change the constitution. And it should be very hard. And I agree. He was talking about how the Soviets constitution guarantees more rights than we do, but it's such they actually, in the Soviet constitution, I think they also agreed the right of you had free press, but you also had the right of not you can't threaten the opposition. Oh boy, that's a laughable one for the Soviets in their constitution. Yes.
Well,
yeah.
I think his argument was because, we have separation of powers in the United States. They didn't have separation of powers though. So once the party took over, It didn't matter what the
Yeah,
Constitution
and
says.
that's what's going to happen. Let me tell you, if the Democrats take the Senate and they take the House, they're going to impeach President Trump. They're going to pack the Supreme Court. They're going to give statehood to D.C. and Puerto Rico. And, they're going to go down that DSA agenda of abolishing the Senate, and
Yeah.
getting rid of the president. So we'll have
You
some
know
sort of weird parliamentary systems.
Yeah, it is. And my understanding is we won't have a president, but they're going to call him the head honcho. I'm not even saying that's a joke. I think that's what the whoever is in charge is called the head honcho. Yeah, it's really nuts. I mean, there's
Don, this reminds me of that Star Trek episode where they had the mob planet, where you had Vic Tayback from Alice was one of the mobs. And Kirk tells me the problem is you got too many bosses here. You have the first boss, then you have the second boss, and and he's going down. He goes, Craxy, you be the big boss, and says, tells Vic Tayback, you could be the law, you could enforce the laws of the book.
They're nuts. I mean, these are nutty, horrible ideas, and they're ideas that I don't think will play anywhere. But we have got to go after them. We've got to make our points clear. We've got to challenge them. And I think a lot of people on the right maybe get a little lazy and think, well, of course these are nutty ideas. Why do we need to even say anything? Why do we even need to?
We have these kids in high school and college that believe in all this stuff,
Yeah, that's true.
And we've got this new writer, Don, for us. His name is Jim Thompson. And every so often on Facebook, they have somebody, you got these baby boomers saying how life was so much better when they were kids, how they got whoopings and this and that. He did a great article debunking a lot of this. It goes, I'm sorry, drinking bottled water, you're not any better than me because you drank tap water and I drink bottled water. And he goes, yeah, we weren't whooped, but we learned to respect we respect our elders. We didn't turn out as hobos. It's a good article. Check it out. We have it on the club site. But speaking of people being above the law, Senator Muse, I don't know if you heard about this, Don, but in Annapolis, he parked his car against a tree. Well, he was in Annapolis. I know parking's hard in Annapolis, but Senator, you should just park at the Annapolis Mall and take an Uber to Annapolis, frankly. Democrats, they're above the law. But
is there any place there you can get a burrito for $20?
No, but I tell you this, okay? You can go to Taco Bell and get a burrito for remember when they used to be 49 cents? They're now like $2 or something like that.
Yeah,
a burrito at Taco Bell.
Yeah, I don't understand. Where is he going for a $20 burrito? Because if you go to Chipotle, you can probably get one for $10.
No, you can if you stack enough ingredients on it, you can get up to 20. You can get up to around $18.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes, the reason.
Yeah, I mean burritos. I mean we frequent Cafe Rio, which is just like Chipotle and these other places, and so the price of a burrito has risen. The base price has risen to about $14 or so now.
Okay.
Okay. And that's. But I think Dwight. There's a point there for Dwight. I mean, if you throw a few add-ons, I mean, if you add guac or some other things that are not part of that,
guac's expensive at Chipotle.
I mean, they charge you like $2 or $3 for that thing. So almost, right?
Yeah.
So, when you want a couple. All you do is add a couple of add-ons, and then you will have your $20 burrito, your base burrito. Now, though, I mean, it used to be. We used to go over there. They used to have these tasty Tuesdays at Cafe Rio, and the entrees on the menu were $5.99. Now it's $13.99 and up, and I'm like, wow, okay.
But here's something that everybody talks about this, but does anybody understand that the minimum wage in DC is $18.40? You don't think that has anything to do with the $20 burrito?
Well, that's. I mean, look, everything is up, right? I mean, it's just the prices of things. So we went to
inflation.
We went to a restaurant last night. We were actually going to go to this one place in Montgomery Village that just opened up. They were doing a week-long grand opening at 50% off their their rates. So this is what was called teapot and hot pot, barbecue. So it's basically kind of a Korean barbecue and hot pot place.
They
But
should
they
have just
were,
called it Teapot Dome and called it a day.
well, we were going to go over there, and and then I thought, let me just read the reviews and see if anybody's reviewed this place. People have slaughtered this place because they opened up and they got overwhelmed. It's the wait time is 2 to 3 hours to get in, and then when you get in, it's another 20 or 30 minutes sometimes before you even get served, and so it's a complete disaster. As I read the reviews, I mean, they're reading their reviews and they're apologizing for the issues and stuff like that, but they didn't have enough staff to handle that. They didn't realize how many people are going to show up to get a half price meal, because those type of meals are in the $30 to $40 range on the average. But because we had been looking around, some other place that we never heard of in Rockville popped up on my wife's phone, and she's like, well, let's try this. So we went over there yesterday, and we thought actually it was pretty good. It's $36 a person for all you can eat. But if you like Korean food and if you like sushi and things like this was the perfect place. And I don't eat a lot, but I still thought I got a fair amount of value for what I
know
because,
somebody you could take with you to have them
yeah,
just give you your $36 value there.
CH. So, but I mean, as my wife pointed out, I mean, we had some steak, we had some short ribs, we had some shrimp, and you think about that, and then she had sashimi. She had several servings of that, and she knows how much the roe is and everything too, right? So she's calculating her, and she's like, this is X amount of dollars per pound normally, and so when she's thinking about this, she's like, hey, where you're kind of eating your way through this, but the thing is, so because some of that food would normally be so expensive, you're not it's not that bad a deal.
Yeah, I mean,
So, all right, so we have to answer Craig's.
Yes,
I'm spending more time answering Craig's questions about food. So Craig, it's called Kubota. It's on East Middle Lane. It's so yeah, just look it up. It's right. You park right in the parking lot behind the building, which I don't even know if it was still Choice Hotels headquarters or not, but there's this.
It's downtown. It's downtown Rockville, like
yeah,
the town center area.
Yeah, right across the street from the metro.
Oh, is that where the Mellow Mushroom used to be?
Mellow Mushroom is further in. Mellow Mushroom is
they're
down,
gone.
Yeah, the Mellow Mushroom was further in. Now that's by the square, remember?
Yeah.
And everything like this. But yeah, it works out pretty good because they have a parking lot there, and they just validate it for you. So it's pretty good. It's good food, and you can, if you like hibachi, you can ask for the hibachi table. So
what I do miss is Mongolian barbecue, because even as a vegetarian, you can go there and enjoy a good meal. Oh, Mongolian.
So the buffet. The buffet in Gaithersburg, right by your favorite Madras Indian restaurant.
Oh, Minerva or Madras Palace.
Madras Palace, the one that we've been to several times over there by the Giant.
Yeah,
over there. So in that shopping center next to where Joanne's used to be is a Chinese buffet. One of the sections there is Mongolian barbecue. So you can actually say, I want this, this, and this, and they'll whip something up for you. So kind of reminds me.
This is the chain place. Remember the chain Mongolian barbecue?
Well, I remember there was a place down in Bethesda for a long time.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking of. That was actually a chain because they had those in New York City also.
Okay.
But
Mongolian barbecue stuff is good. I mean, I did that in Vegas.
There was an episode of The Nanny where a bank robber kidnaps the mother as they're leaving, and then she makes them stop at the Mongolian barbecue, and the three got caught. But the reporter's asking her while she's eating something. She goes, so how was it? She goes, and she was talking about the ordeal, and she goes, oh, it's a little dry, and she's talking about the food. But there's another place. There's a Tex-Mex place in Kensington that is reasonable, and it's pretty good. Also in Kensington, there's Breads and Pizza. I think that's the name of the place, but it's very good pizza. I wholly endorse that pizza. Get the
You know,
garlic crust and ask them not to and get the slightly doughy crust because they burn it the other way if you go the other way, the other direction.
we're mentioning so many restaurants and stuff. We should really be trying to pitch for some money for this.
Yeah, well, but
We're
then again, there's our
sponsor your restaurant, huh? We're pitching for the restaurant. Might
yeah.
as
I
well.
mean, and the best restaurant is Masoni's. You got to drive to Perry Hall, but it's well worth
Right.
going to Masoni's.
That's right.
Mention the Bob and Kendall podcast, and you get a discount.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
anyway, so we're okay, we're still around the corner here. We're still doing pretty good. Hey,
Yeah.
So I want to ask, well, I want to ask you guys, particularly and about Trump. To me, when Trump called out the oil companies this week and said making
Oh
too
my!
much,
When is he going to?
Yeah,
Is he also
okay.
going to blame Dick Cheney and George W. Bush and Halliburton for this too? When does that come out?
when I did my podcast during the week, I told my colleague, I said, look, I said, he sounded like a Democrat. I mean, this is, I was just waiting for him to say, I'm going to push for a windfall profits tax. It's like, by the way, President, why are they making so much money? They should be thanking you for that because your war with Iran has pushed up prices. And so they're just raking it in right now.
We just need to bomb them into the Stone Age.
Yeah, you end this war and you get the oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. Profits will return to normal. They'll drop like a stone, and people won't. And gas prices will be back to $3. So
or $2.
Oh yeah, change. Well, I mean, it was $3 and change last year. So instead of being over $4. By the way. If you're looking for cheap gas through October, and you don't really care about what the gas station is in the general sense, if you're a member of 7-Eleven rewards program, and then you text this number that they give you on the 7th and the 11th of every month through October 11th, it's 50 cents off a gallon of gas.
That's pretty good.
Plus, apparently, the regular membership gives you 10 cents anyway. So you actually get 60 cents off a gallon of gas. I'm like,
that's pretty
at that point in time, I become a little bit agnostic as to where I'm getting my gas.
Yeah.
Well, I think the frustrating thing is we got rid of Maduro. I think the thought was that we would be able to get their oil industry up and really full speed, but it takes a while to do that. So it's not like the Venezuelan oil can replace the Iranian oil.
Well,
right.
we don't.
And I think that can be said for a lot of things in just general terms. Is that you go and you destroy things, or you're going to try to improve it. Things take time. I mean, there's a big debate as to whether or not we have enough munitions because of how much we've been using in this war effort.
How much we gave Ukraine,
Yeah, and so, I know people who say, any discussion about this is fake news, but, if you think about it, it's like there's got to be some truth to this because, we're now into sophisticated weaponry.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can turn out this is that how you can make a Patriot missile like you can make a Twinkie. Right.
Yeah.
It takes a year to 3 years, depending upon what kind of missile you're looking for to manufacture that thing. So if you start running down your stockpile, it's going to take a while to replenish it, So I think there's definitely some credence to this because I can't believe that the U.S. had such a huge stockpile that they're thinking like, we can send a bunch over here to Ukraine. And then we've got plenty of over here for Iran, and then we'll order.
I think a lot of this might be strategic deception, letting them think we're out of weapons. It could be strategic deception. We could be sitting on a pile of weapons that we just want. I mean, it could be like this could be like a kind of a little fake out for the Chi-Coms.
I mean,
well, maybe, but
go ahead.
Well, maybe, but it would make sense because we've had so many ceasefires. So you'd almost think that maybe it's true that we don't have that much.
And I think too, in terms of, we talk about, the best thing, we need Trump to end this war. He needs to end this war, and he should just bomb the heck out of Iran, really, and just pin them back. He's kept them on life support for far too long. But that also plays, I wonder if this munitions issue also plays into this, is that they are trying to manage their inventory of this, so they can't, if they went on an all-out offensive and for some reason some of it failed, then they have a hole where they can't backfill very fast, and that leaves the U.S. vulnerable. So I think that, and the ceasefires. I mean, I think you're right. I think there's a reason we've had these ceasefires. It's not just giving Iran a chance to breathe and try to figure things out, but it's also for a chance for us to kind of stretch our supply and hope maybe get some, maybe some things that have been in the pipeline will start, will be, being delivered. But yeah, this thing started at the end of February or whatever, and only things in the pipeline, are maybe getting to us now. But it's not like you can say, okay, well, we're starting a war, we're going to order missiles. You're not going to see those missiles for a year.
It's not like you can go to munitions depot and just say, hey, I'd like to have 130 of these. You're not buying staples.
Yeah, it's not like you pull up your phone and get on an app and say, I want this and I want this. Click the button and you get it, and you get the Amazon delivery of it, a day later.
That would be cool if Amazon was in the military weapons business.
And I bet they could.
Do you know how much money they would make selling munitions?
And your Prime cost would get you free delivery.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. I mean, Pentagon, man, you pay $139, you get free delivery.
That's right. Yeah.
Free
Anywhere in the country.
And Prime Day specials when you buy 2 Aegis cruisers, you get 1 free on Prime Days.
You know what I wish? I wish Elon Musk would bring back his flamethrowers, because I think I missed an opportunity when he was selling flamethrowers a few years ago. I think that was
that's one way to get rid of weeds too, by the way.
Yeah. The legality of that in some areas, I don't know. Okay, but
I've seen people do it here in Montgomery County.
I have some lawns in my neighborhood that could use a torching and start all over. That's for sure.
Yeah. But I think, what's really good is, by the way, I do want to wish Ann Kasudas, one of our friends, today's her birthday. She turns 25, I think, today. And then we have my friend.
That was very good, Dwight.
And then we got my friend Irene, who I used to, in high school, I would always confuse her with Vera. And she has a birthday today, and she is around the speed limit, But Irene, happy birthday. She's all the way listening from Athens.
Unless it's fully public knowledge, because they're a celebrity, you have to be careful when you start mentioning women's ages, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Irene and I went to high school together. She's an old friend.
So you she's around the double nickel or somewhere.
Yeah.
But but speed limits can vary greatly.
I'm a nickel and 4 pennies.
Can vary greatly. Because if you get on Route 7 in Fairfax, it's 35. You get into Falls Church, it's 25. So
that's Don Byer for you.
Think about when you mentioned this. So, and Dwight had mentioned, when I mentioned Dickerson at the beginning about, Dickerson being in Montgomery County. As soon as we, so you have to get to Dickerson from Frederick, you have to go on what's called Route 85, Monocacy Boulevard. So you're driving down this road and the speed limits vary. And then you finally leave Frederick and you hit Montgomery County. And as soon as you hit Dickerson,
25 miles an hour,
it says, photo, what is that? Speed laws enforced by photo, and I'm like, strictly enforced. And I'm like, this is so Montgomery County. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking around as I'm driving. I'm thinking, like, they put a speed camera out here in the country where it's surrounded by soybeans and corn. Get you seriously? Is it
That's
a
Robin
speed? Is there
Stricker
a
country.
speed camera in the corn stock? What is going on here?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I hate speed cameras. I hate red light cameras too. I hate both.
The other thing too is that, and I don't know whether or not you guys have seen this. I've been trying to figure this out because there's been a lot of debate about this. Montgomery County has launched. They've bought all these newfangled speed
Oh yeah, the ones
cameras,
that look like Tesla Cybertrucks.
and they said, and people have said that they actually get you both ways. And
yes.
I'm thinking like, wow, okay, that's too much for me.
Yeah, I agree.
And they also if you walk up to it, it'll take a picture of you there too.
So you see, yeah, they're supposed to be anti-vandal proof, right?
Yep. And I want to say Ian did an article actually on that. Let me find it. But it's
Do they have a lot of speed cameras in Virginia at all?
They got a lot of cameras, yeah. Usually by schools.
Okay.
But
See, Montgomery County started off, as I recall, is that it was like school zones only, right?
yeah,
During school hours. But I was always leery about the ones in the school zones. It's like if it's on weekends and after school, were they really off?
well,
Yeah.
they've got the bus cameras now too. Okay.
Yeah.
If you pass a bus, they'll take a picture.
Yeah.
You're not
look,
supposed to
I mean,
do-
look, there's no reason you should pass a school bus.
Exactly, especially when the stop sign's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we also have
I came very close because I got caught kind of a thing, and I gunned the engine, and I passed the school bus before the stop arm came all the way out, and my wife she wasn't happy with me. I says it wasn't quite out yet, and I was just kind of like I didn't I made a reaction and a quick decision. It's like I don't want to ever do that again.
Yeah, we did.
But back in the day, I mean, I used to see people, not anymore, but I used to see people run them all the time. I used to see people just drive them.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I remember when they put one of those on the GW Parkway right by Reagan Airport.
Oh, that didn't last very long, though. I mean, I think Dick Cheney got involved in that one.
No, but that was around for the full year I was working for ACU. I know that for a fact.
But as I recall, Dick Cheney, I mean, he led the movement to take them off the Parkway because people were mad.
Yeah, they should be, rightly so, frankly.
Yeah.
And then Montgomery County has also dropped their speed limits. Like Georgia Avenue, the speed limit is 25, 30, when it should be more like 45.
All the speed limit drops. I'm driving on a road, and I'm like, this is like 5 miles lower than it used to be. It's like
Wisconsin Avenue in downtown Bethesda, I think is 20 or 25.
It's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, granted, you can't go more than 5 anyways on Wisconsin Avenue because there's a bike lane.
I know, but I still hate it. I mean, I do
hate
too. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't like being told to go at speed X, when I would go speed Y.
So, Dwight, you seem to like North Carolina. I mean, we've gone down there together, stuff like that. So we also have this representative, Chuck Edwards. He dropped out of the race. He won his primary, and he dropped out. He was facing censure. I think he's denied it, all the sexual improprieties and stuff like that was going on there. But he dropped out. So that makes kind of an interesting race because the Central Committee, I understand, will meet and then
appoint
name a nominee to replace him. But that seat is not necessarily all that safe. I mean, this change could make it much more competitive. And then we have Max Miller.
We could get a much better candidate too.
Could get a better candidate.
I should reach out to our friend Chris out there who's running for state senate to get his 2 cents on this seat.
Yeah.
Or Chris, if you're watching us, which you shouldn't be because you should be knocking on doors, just drop us a line.
Yeah. So while the Democrats are struggling with the DSA, Republicans are still having a few issues with, these sexual harassment.
Look at Byron Donalds in Florida. He's got, I don't think he wins that primary now.
I don't know. I haven't been following it. I don't know who else there might be.
there's a lot of stuff I don't want to get into, but
Well,
there's a
it's
lot
like
of inside
well, it's like
baseball.
the guy. Remember in North Carolina, the lieutenant governor, black conservative.
Yes,
They thought was.
but why couldn't he have resigned if we could have replaced him with Dan Forrest?
Well,
Dan Forrest would have been a great governor of North Carolina.
Yeah,
You
I
Tar
mean,
Heels missed out.
I know, like the Democrats have put up some pretty bad candidates, and they're definitely doing it this time around. But the Republicans, how many times, here in the last, 10 or 15 years or whatever, have just put up some of the worst candidates,
Yeah,
you
like the
know,
guy that ran for Senate in Indiana, who, if we had a normal candidate, we would have been able to beat Evan Bayh at that point.
yeah.
yeah, we had lost so many opportunities out there. And look, I mean, people vote. Most people legitimately won their primaries to go on, but it's like, somebody, I keep thinking somebody needs to kind of figure this out and say, we really have got to put up good, viable candidates, uh, for this if we really want to maintain control. Republicans just, they get control for a while, and then some of these other candidates come in there, and then the whole thing, they
Yeah,
just kind of
remember
screwed
the
up.
first time around we had that guy Madison Cawthorn from North Carolina who was having all these issues. Then we had the guy who was featured in an episode. Well, he wasn't, but they had a guy that was a stand-in for him in an episode of Law and Order SVU, Matt Gaetz. The actor playing this guy looked just like Matt Gaetz too, which is funny.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, Democrats have had their problems, but Republicans keep gifting the Democrats
Oh yeah.
bad candidates. And that's
Mhm.
that's why, I mean, yeah, Texas, I think Paxton can pull it out, but it's not going to be like it could have been with Cornyn.
Cornyn would be up 20 points right now.
Yeah.
Well, he'd be up. Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah. It'd be up big, but I mean, Paxton is damaged goods, and it's going to be tough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, we're at final thoughts, Don.
Yeah.
Dave, why don't you start? Final thoughts.
Well, I watched on YouTube the old Odd Couple movie with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. I never saw the whole thing, but I rewatched it. The interesting thing is, because I always liked the TV show, there is a scene in the Odd Couple movie where they took the same scene and they had an episode based on it with the Pigeon sisters, or the two English girls that they were interested in. They're in the movie, the same names as the characters from the TV show, and they have the same scene where they come down and Oscar and Felix starts talking about his ex-wife and kids, and then they start crying together, and it kind of ruins the whole evening. But it's the same scene, so I thought that was interesting. But otherwise, keep checking my Substacks. I'm writing more columns, and yeah, it's going well on the writing, and hopefully it'll be a good weekend. A little hot today, but we'll see what the weekend's like.
A little. It's going to be hot tomorrow too.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's it.
Hey, Don, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Yeah. So I guess Trump and Jeanine Pirro are not quite on the same page right now. I mean, and I'm trying to be practical about this. I mean, I think Pirro was trying to score points with Trump, when she went ahead and charged that former Olympian with vandalism. Now they come back and they say that it's the installation was faulty and everything like this. I think a sensible person probably would have realized anyway that was probably more likely that Trump really they rushed through this whole process with the reflecting pool. I understand, you're trying to get this ready for July 4th, and Trump has been doing a lot of things along those lines of trying to really, spruce up DC and everything like that while he's in office. But the reflecting pool is it's a complicated, place, and Obama spent a bunch of money and didn't solve the problem. Trump has spent a whole bunch of money, and they're going to have to spend a lot more to really fix it. And so, Trump has no problem throwing anybody under the bus. So
I've got a solution. When I was studying architecture, one of the lines I take is model building, right? And one of the models had a reflecting pool. And you know what we did? We got a piece of a blue. Remember those things we used to buy to have as report covers? You could buy them in any colors. I bought one in blue, and I glued it down on white, and it was the reflecting pool. And you know something? We could do the same thing. We could even use glass, and it'll look the same. And with modern technology, I'm sure we could do a way we could make it look like it's actually moving. That could be a solution for the reflecting pool.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, the whole thing about where the water source is, the warm temperatures that kind of create that whole environment for algae and everything like this. This is not something that's a quick fix. So they need to kind of sort that out, and that's a process I think that takes a lot longer than trying to rush it through in a few months. So Trump doesn't like to have things not go right on his watch. So when they don't, somebody is going to take the fall, and I think Jeanine Pirro may be the one that takes the fall for this in the end.
But they had the guy on video, though. The swimmer, wasn't he on?
But I think it's legitimate enough to say that maybe pieces were breaking off or things like that. The pool was not. It wasn't done right. I mean, anybody who goes down there now knows is that there's a big problem with the reflecting pool, and so even if that guy took a piece off of it there, it wasn't going to be the major problem that brings down the whole pool in essence.
We should have been selling pieces of that the liner, like pieces of the Berlin Wall. Like $10 donation to the RNC, you get a piece of the reflecting pool. Kind of like remember people bought those pieces of the Berlin Wall.
I still have some somewhere.
Yeah, same here. I don't know where it is, but
yeah, I mean, I have some. I was supposed to sell them for Art Harmon, and I didn't quite finish.
I mentioned his name. Yeah, Art Harmon was big into that.
Harmon. He had a whole bunch of chunks of that, and I tried to sell.
Yeah.
I did sell some for him, and I still probably have some somewhere around here.
Art probably has some right now. Art probably in his garage has lots of pieces of the Berlin Wall.
Yeah, Art is actually. I mean, he's turned into the photographer guy too, right? I mean, he's actually won photography competitions and stuff like that, awards for some of the stuff he's done.
Art probably has enough that out in front of his yard he can just have a big block of the
he could piece it together.
have like a big block of the Berlin Wall.
Kind of like they did in the museum, right?
With some graffiti on the side.
Yeah,
the museum, right? Was that supposed to be the leftist biggest monument to themselves? And they went out of business because nobody wanted to pay $25 to go to their museum.
The museum I mean, it was doomed to fail. I mean, nobody really liked the news. I mean, the whole idea of that enough that they were going to pay that money to go through that whole thing. I mean, it didn't offer anything particularly special. It's one thing if you're going to CNN, when they were doing headquarters in Atlanta and they had a CNN studio tour, because you'd get to see a lot of different things there.
You can see Wolf Blitzer.
Yeah, but what's their museum? It's a bunch of displays.
Yeah, and by the way, I went there. I didn't pay the $25. It was a free thing. I went there. This is when they first opened on Pennsylvania Avenue. Excuse me, but they have a 60 minutes display. I could have gone to the Smithsonian. They've got that there too. This exact same exhibit, They have the second 60 minutes watch, while the Smithsonian has the original 60 minute stopwatch.
Yeah, the only redeeming thing about the museum is that if you ever went to the one on Pennsylvania Avenue, so they had those little like rooms where they have the short little films going on.
Yep.
And I can't remember the subject exactly, but Cliff Kincaid was actually in one of those. They actually
Oh, really?
did something with him specifically for that, discussing something.
Was it
So,
about the United Nations?
no, I don't no. It was actually media related.
Oh, really? No. Wow, not about.
So that was about the only redeeming thing that I can think of about that. I mean, it was interesting to see the Berlin Wall piece or whatever, but still, I don't, not something was worth it. But we did use it to take our interns down there and give them a treat, since we're one.
They had
firing
they
German.
also had what else they had there was the first news helicopter from KTLA or someplace in California.
And they did have the studio that they were doing the whole, what was it, the thing with Stephanopoulos, the show on Sunday.
Oh, this week, yeah.
Yeah. So they did a they were doing it from a long time. But anyway, all right. And just this lastly, really quick. So some of our favorite MAGA exiles want to form a third party. This is basically the we don't like Trump party, I guess. It's like,
Yes,
this
Tucker,
is not
Marjorie
gonna go
Taylor
anywhere. I mean,
Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene and these people is like,
Is Lauren
wait,
Boebert going to be part of that too?
can you just go away? Adam Kinzinger, all these guys. I was like, oh, please.
But
Joe Kent.
Yeah.
But these guys like Tucker Carlson, they've got more in common with AOC and El Sayed than they do with Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, and President Trump, frankly.
I have a column up this.
Because just real quick, I'll let you speak again, Dave. I just saw before we came on that the former mayor of Mesa, who's a Republican, is going to be the lieutenant governor candidate for Katie Hobbs in Arizona. And the only reason I saw the story is because he is a graduate of BYU, and Andy Biggs, who's running as a Republican, is also a graduate of BYU, and I'm like, what?
So is he now a Democrat now? Is he a Democrat that he's running against?
I think he still identifies as a Republican.
Well,
but isn't Hobbs a Democrat though?
Hell, Hobbs is a Democrat.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Arizona, I have an article. Jeff Flake has made a comeback endorsing John Ossoff. But what the USA Today column, they pushed the story. It shouldn't even be a real story. But Jeff Flake also endorsed Kamala Harris, and he worked for Biden. So I have a column on why that's silly to even think it's to push this as a news story that he's backing Ossoff.
By the way, that Georgia race should not be this close. Ossoff should not be this close. He should not be in the lead there. It's Georgia, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but I mean, this all goes back to Trump kind of screwed that whole thing up.
Yeah,
and we haven't recovered from that.
Yeah,
it's only gotten worse. So it's like these guys are kind of getting firmly entrenched, and we can throw up a good candidate, but it's going to take something to get a Republican elected again in the Senate back in Georgia. And this is dumb. This is Trump's fault.
But who could? I agree with you. But who could easily have taken Ossoff out? Kemp.
Right.
Kemp decided to run for the Senate. It would have been.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this too. I mean, before. I mean, there, people like Steve Ducey. No, what was it, Doug Ducey in Arizona?
Doug Ducey.
Yeah, Doug. Those guys, if they had run, they would be in the Senate today. Right.
But the problem is they were worried about the MAGA primary. Here's the thing. Because there's no real love lost between Governor Kemp and President Trump.
Right. I mean, that the MAGA people have kind of scared these guys off, but those guys would have won, and there would have been our seats, in those areas, except for kind of how the whole MAGA movement kind of scared those guys off.
It's just like under in Maryland, Kelly Schultz probably could have beaten Westmore 4 years ago, but she lost the primary to Dan Cox,
Yeah. And Dan Cox now is like a very muted version of his old self. He's not throwing those bombs like he did 4 years ago.
But I would just add, Don, I agree with you in a way. I think Steve Ducey would make a good governor of Arizona.
He is in Florida, Hey.
Someplace a guy like Ducey could probably win.
I think he could win in Florida. I bet if he ran for governor of Florida.
Yeah.
Because I think he lives down in Central Florida, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's on the Space Coast. He's not all the way down in Miami. I think he's like Space Coast or the Treasure Coast. I forget which one it is.
Anyway, I had one more thing just popped in my mind. Something I saw this afternoon. It's my last thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Enos Freedom Cantor Freedom, whatever. Anyway, former NBA basketball player. He changed his name, added the name Freedom in there, became kind of this big pro America, everything like this. He was really upset.
Mm-hmm.
He really didn't like the way the NBA was going and whatnot. He hasn't played for like 4 or 5 years now. Today he declared himself eligible for the WNBA draft.
I saw that. Yeah,
this is wonderful because they looked. He and his agent, I guess, they looked at all the rules and they said, like, I'm identifying as a woman. I'm declaring for the draft.
That's great.
What does the WNBA do now? I mean, these people, the WNBA, it's horrible. Okay, and there's Sophie Cunningham. Has gotten a lot of play because she's been standing up against transgenders in girls' sports, and she's talking about like little girls in particular. She wants to protect the small young girls, and so she's been under attack by other WNBA players, including the coach, of one of the other teams, who wore at a game when they were playing. She wore a trans girls, matter like shirt, to kind of be in her face, and one of the former NFL star, Brian Urlacher, his daughter, I guess, is gay or whatever. And he says he had made a comment a week or two ago. He says, we all know that the WNBA is basically gay, and that doesn't bother him, but it does bother him about how they've treated Sophie Cunningham and ostracized her, and the fact that there's these men playing girl sports. So good for Sophie Cunningham, but good for Enos Cantor because he's put the WNBA on notice and say, all right, you talk about I can identify, why not? What are you going to do?
That's true. That is true.
So
my final thoughts. I think we're down to the last 2.5 weeks of summer left. Enjoy the summer. Go to Ocean City. Visit Ocean City. And remember what Governor Orlick says. Go early and stay late. That way you avoid all the Bay Bridge traffics. And also we've got coming up, really it's August, so it's kind of quiet. Check out Montgomery County Republican Club.com. We've got some great articles on there this week. We have a great little article on everything from Senator Anthony Muse's mad parking skills to Brandon Scott's wife getting $50,000 of taxpayer money. And we got some, if you like Carol Hughes, she's got a 3-part series on education in Maryland, and she's identified the problems. This week's, I think this week might be talking about fixes, what Maryland could learn, or is that next week's? This is, it's along those same lines. It's like, Maryland needs to think outside the box. Admit the fact that the blueprint has failed. Blueprint has failed, and stop pushing it. And that's about it, everyone. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to David for that.
Yes, Dave. Thank you.
Let's go down to Masoni's, where Italian cuisine shines. Let's go down to Masoni's, we'll have a good old time. Homemade pasta at Masoni's, sauce is fresh